The name of the show is The Way to Go. Tonight's guest is Max Bendich. I'm Alan Bendich. I'll be your host. Welcome to the show, Pop.
Alan, let's do it slowly, and life will go on slowly from that time.
That's it. We'll just enjoy the show.
Right.
So, we basically, in the past episodes, we went through actually your entire life, but we went through it really quickly. So what I'm hoping to do today is maybe add a little bit more color and go into some of the things, especially in your youth, that we didn't get a chance to expand upon. And you were born in 1915. And what's your earliest memory, Pop?
I was born in 1915. We were in Manhattan, and soon we moved to the Bronx, to the South Bronx.
So what's your earliest memory?
Oh, wait, to the South Bronx. I was a child at that time. I'm still a child, about now, living in 136th Street, about 5, 6, 7, and about that. My recollection of the block, that's what I could see, is that 136th Street, on one side of the street where people lived, and on the other side of the street, near the corner, first there was a house, one house only on 136th, in that corner, and they had, at the beginning, a stable, a regular big stable, and at that time they had push carts and they had horses and wagon, and they would have to have a place where to put them. And we would see near the end of the day, and the traffic in that street was terrific. The horses and wagon and cars would come and everything.
What kind of cars were there?
No, I wouldn't.
You don't remember?
It never occurred to me even to think about but the cars.
Right.
And it was snowing at that time. That's what I recollect. And a horse was walking up the stable, and boom, he falls down. And what happened? He had broken his leg. We don't know this. We're kids, and we're all walking, looking around. And even though the older people, he was lying, and they were pulling him down into the gutter, stopped traffic, and they called the policeman. And Alan, believe it or not, he takes out his gun, puts it to the horse's head, and fires and kills the horse. And he explained it later to people. That's the only way to put him out of his misery. Right. Next to the stable was a chicken market, where all the women, they have chickens, and they had a lady.
Were they alive?
Live
chickens.
It's a chicken, the chickens are walking around in the bottom. We were sitting over, not we, my mom, Bubby, would be sitting over here, and other ladies, and their chickens would come out, and the women would go over, lift up the chicken by its legs, upside down, and feel to see how fat it was. The fatter the chicken, the better they would want it.
Why?
And they would give
fat
it,
meaning more meat? Or?
No, what it means I don't know. But that's how it was. And they would bring it over to it's called a shochet, the man, and you remember it was a kosher place,
right?
Kosher. And you have to kill it in a certain way. Not only the chicken, the cow, anything that's edible, with one stroke.
Really?
One stroke meaning you do not want to harm the animal.
Like to have no pain or something?
No pain, no nothing.
Minimal amount of pain.
So usually it's a chicken, they put, and he does it once, and you let the chicken, and the chicken walks around, and finally the chicken dies.
Right.
All right? Then there's another lady sitting there, and she starts what's called flicking the chicken. They're taking the feathers off and taking the feathers off. And then they would, my mother, other people would buy, so that was number 2. The stable.
Right.
The next was ice stock. Now, at that time, everybody had Frigidaires, excuse me.
Ice boxes.
Ice boxes.
Right.
Ice boxes, you put a piece of ice, and it drips down through some pipe or something to the floor. Usually you have a basin, and you have to pick up the basin and spill it out. And they charge about a nickel or a nickel, between a nickel and a dime, no more than a dime. A dime must have been a
big
usually
piece of ice, right?
The biggest child or somebody would go up even 4 flights, and by the
Ice.
The ice, and we get upstairs, and that's how the things worked. After that, I don't remember anything.
Right.
But about things like that. Now we were 4 or 5 young kids, and we used to play games.
Okay.
And Alan, the games we played they are written up in books.
Right.
Johnny on a pony.
Right.
What's Johnny on a pony? Three fellas would go against the wall and bend down low, and the 3 fellas would go and jump on top of them. And one would jump on top of the other one, and one would jump. And if they held up, then it's up to the other team to go. But if they fell down, we have to start all over again, and they have to jump on the same people.
Anyone ever get really hurt?
No, nobody got hurt. Right. We also played a tag or something. We would get a piece of wood, a peg, put it on the stoop, and they would, with a stick, hit the thing, and that would jump. Now, if it went over the first...
So you see how far it went? Is that what it was?
No, on the street.
Right.
But if you saw cars, we wouldn't have it.
Right.
But the cars, we didn't...
But what happened? The stick would go into the street?
That little peg.
Right.
Try it. You hit it, and it gets up. You hit it, and then you hit it with the stick.
Okay.
That was another game. We would play tag, naturally. We would play hopscotch. No, hopscotch was for the girls. We would call it something, 3 Steps to Germany. What's that? There were about 5 fellas waiting in the street, and the 5 fellas are going to come on 1, 2, 3. And then they would go later, and many times the fellas would evade them and go to the other side. But if we didn't, we tagged them, they were out.
Right. How many kids would play these games?
We had about 6 or 7.
And that's all you needed for the game?
That's all you need, 3 and 3 or whatever it is. Then we played Ringalivio. What's Ringalivio?
I don't know. I never played that one.
Yeah.
And I used to hear that when I was a kid, but I never played it.
Ringalivio had a base.
Right.
Now look, the kids now, remember, and we had, let's say, we had sometimes there were 8 kids, 4 and 4, and then we'd have to hide. Now we're kids. Where did we even go? Up to the roof.
Oh my God.
Never thought about it. No things happening, no nothing. We could fall off, nothing.
Right.
We went to and we would hide, and they would look for us. Once he goes past, you run down, and if you're fast enough, and let's say they caught me and they put me in jail.
Right.
As long as he was able to evade them, touch that, I'm ready to go out.
Okay. So
And Alan, that took time.
was that fun?
But the fun, yes. It was fun. Then we also played immies. What's an immie? A little marble. And you play it against the sidewalk and the gutter.
Right.
And you roll it along, and the next fellow will go after him and try to hit it. If he hits it or comes near it, I shall tell you about it, he wins. He takes it. Either he's going to win it or lose it. And now, if he's near it that much, but he wins. You can see it. But suppose he has with a span, and
a hand span.
A hand span.
Okay.
And
that's how you measured it?
Wait a minute. The measurements from 1 to the, and it was maybe that much more. We would stand. We stopped the game until he couldn't do it anymore. Then he said, "No, I can't do it anymore."
So he'd stretch his fingers as far as he could.
Those are the and then, it was seasonal.
Right.
There was a season for the immies.
Right.
There were a season for little. You buy them for 12 for $1 for a penny.
Right.
And they were cartoons, and you cut them up, 12 cut, and eventually we gamble for them. And what happens? How do we gamble? By the first word, let's say Mutt and Jeff.
Right.
The M, Mutt, so it became the M. And if you got to go to this way, it's a G. And the kept on going.
Do you have to match the letters?
You have to match the letters. When they match the letters, the one who matches it wins all of them.
Oh my God.
Eventually, we kept on winning or losing, and you had a lot of them. Alan, maybe more than 100, because we sold them 50 either for a penny, because they were used, or 50 for 2.
So you sold them to your friends?
To your friends. They have to play.
Because you need more.
And
a penny
was a lot of money.
Yep.
The boys at that time wore knickers, Alan. Knickers, they're terrific. They look good and everything, and they come up to here, up to a little below the knee, and you tie them. They must have a clamp. I don't know.
Right.
That's how we went to school that way and everything. But when you have about 50, you went playing and you have about 50 pictures, you have to put them somewhere. So everybody, not me, we tear the pockets open and we would push those.
So it would go all the way down to the bottom of your knickers. Oh, okay. You mentioned something about that before, but I didn't realize that they were tied. So the knickers were tied on the bottom.
Oh, that's right.
So you'd fill up the whole leg with
or you're going to lose them.
Okay.
Now, how do you know how much? No one counts to about 50 or 50.
Right.
We take out the pictures, stack them up, and press down hard. Actually, press down hard. And when it comes about even, it could be 2 or 3 different, less or more.
Right.
You start playing for them, and you start calling 5 a pot. What I mean?
Yeah.
If you hit MM, that's 1, and if you hit RR, you could have 4, and yet the next fellow could say 1 after the other and get 5, and he takes every.
I do have a question. Okay. So was this your first taste of in quotes, like gambling? You know what I mean?
Wait, not only was it first taste, eventually there was. Oh, so we found a different kind of a game. And then we would take a coin, and usually it's a penny, against the wall. If it hit the wall, it's out. The nearest to the wall and the sidewalk, if you come, wins. Sometimes 2 or 3 fellas.
Oh, God.
Oh, there's another game. They would put a penny on the line, and he would say two boxes away, and we would throw the ball.
Boxes meaning the cement.
The cement boxes. The cement boxes. Right. And we would throw a ball.
Right.
If you hit it, it was you get a point. But if you turn it around, you automatically win. Okay. And sometimes, when you hit the ball, the penny, it actually flips over. It flips over. That's another kind of a game. We would play stickball. Now, stickball is very nice. Even though the men, we watch it every now and then, in certain areas, and they play stickball. They throw the ball. Where did we get a stick? Many times. And somebody either take your mother's broomstick, or you found the broomstick in the garbage, and they would cut off the broom, the broom, and so.
Did your mother get upset with?
Wait, and what about the bases?
Right.
The sewer was home plate.
Right.
One of the cars, there was always first base. The next sewer was second base. And believe it or not, we were pretty good. All of us, we would hit the ball and run, but let us break a window, and it happened. So they would call the police. The police were our friends, but they knew we never bothered anybody, and we played that kind of a game.
So one other thing, okay? I mean,
we had a good time.
Now, how about? I mean, when you first started going to the movies as a kid, were they silent movies?
Right. Not only silent movies, for a nickel. Yeah. They started off a nickel on 138th Street. And they would show the feature movie, a comedy, a newsreel, a cartoon, and coming attractions. Unbelievable. And
how much would it cost?
A nickel.
A nickel.
That was on 138th Street near Cypress Avenue, or near
whatever.
There was another one on 138th Street near Brook Avenue. It cost a dime.
Wow.
It was a new place.
Fancy.
It was big. This one looked like a shack. The other one, except only one thing, and this is unbelievable. In the summertime, we would have outdoor movies.
Wow.
We would still for a nickel, unless it rained. We would sit outside, actually, and where was the outside? Try to imagine a tenement that has a yard.
Right.
It was a yard, and they were able to, and they did it. Alan, they took care of us.
So, and also, they had like, I guess at these silent movies, they had really good piano players.
And if, Alan, I'm looking, right now, I look at I take on the computer, I put on YouTube, and I get silent movies. Right. And what do you hear? Only you hear the piano playing, the piano player playing just what the action. Da-da-da-da-da-da, that means that they're running away. Oh, da-da-da, the love scene. And Alan, you're right. Alan, that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I'll interject some. Even though that was almost 40, 50, more, 60 years ago.
Daddy,
I see
it's
it.
70 years ago, 80 years ago.
I don't want to say it.
I mean, you're 98 years old.
I see that.
Right.
And now I see it on television. I see Tom Mix, Jack Hoxsey. I see Mata Hari, all the old-time Poland Negri.
And these were great. A lot of these actors, though, I guess they never really made it when talkies came in.
No,
they didn't make the transition.
I'm going to give the better of it.
Yeah.
Most of these actors that you see now
Yeah.
were bit players,
Right.
beautiful actors.
Right.
They look young, and they little by little they get up. And I'm serious. If you have a chance, look up YouTube and anything. Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd.
So, Dad, I mean, so you would go there when would you go to movies? On a Saturday? Or?
Now count something up. Those in my lifetime,
Right.
at that time, know one thing. There was the cheapest babysitting outfit in the world, that movie.
Yeah.
What happened? So the first thing my parents would do, we were three, I told you, we're three. I have twin brothers and myself. So we went down. She would give us all food.
Right.
Not only she, all of them, all the parents would have, boys and girls,
Right.
take us to the movies, buy tickets for us. Now, when you buy a ticket at that time, you tore it in half. Not you, the man who collects and gives you a late check. What's a late check? After the 10, another 10, the 5 different things, the feature
Right.
and this and that. After it's all over, they put on some commercial, meaning go to Sam's Grocery on 136th Street, and he written, and a man would go out, usually some man, and the piano player would be playing. Late checks, what would he do? He would collect the stubs.
Right.
But while he's collecting, there's something happening. Later, I'm not telling you later what, something happening, there's movement. We, and this is all the children, we would see the same thing again, the exact same thing from beginning to end.
How many hours would that be?
I don't
Hours.
know.
Long time, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
But what happens? The lights go on late checks. Now we realize what that movement was.
Yeah.
Almost all the children would go underneath the legs. They didn't have any other underneath the legs of and they knew what the people
Of the chairs?
Of the people sitting there,
okay.
and the people would sit, and they would go around.
So they could see another movie?
Getting there, and for 3 movies,
Oh, wow.
Alan, it was no one bothered us, no one anything unless
But
they
what
were.
was it? I mean, it must have been incredible because silent movies were kind of new back then. I mean, it must have been. It must have been.
But it was.
unbelievable.
No one touched us. It was good.
It was a safe place to be.
It was a safe place.
Yeah.
But again, so we're growing up a little more.
Right.
We start going to Coney Island.
Right.
Now Coney Island, the fare was a nickel, and we get off on Brook Avenue. Wait, Brook Avenue was the station that we went on. We go to 125th, and it was a local.
Right.
We go to the right across to the other train,
Right.
the Express, 125th Street. It misses about 3 or 4 stations, and goes from 125th to 86th to Grand Central.
59th Street.
Huh?
First 59th Street. Then Grand Central.
No, 59. No,
Oh, that wasn't there then?
There was no 59th
Oh, I
Street.
didn't know that.
There was no only late.
that happened
I'm
later?
serious.
I believe
Maybe
you.
because of Blooming.
believe you.
Because of Bloomingdale's.
Yeah. Right.
But there was no 59th Street.
Wow.
To Grand Central, and Grand Central, we would go downstairs, and a big crowd. It started from Grand Central to go to Stillwell Avenue. Stillwell Avenue is Coney Island.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Right, all right. Really,
I believe
now
you.
just imagine this. So the parents are standing here, and all the kids are trying to, and they do it. It's been going on for a long time. The adults let them go right to the beginning of the the train comes and stays there about a half a minute,
Right.
and then the doors open. And just imagine, right, we run in, not every kid, but the minute we go in, we lie down. We lie down on the seat, we're like this. Why? For the parents to come.
Oh, that's nice.
Every adult, and the people who are going to be watching this, I hope, remember, every adult, let the kids do that.
Right.
And every summer, that's how it happened.
So what'd you do at Coney Island when you got there?
Oh, very good. Now, in Coney Island, we all had taken blankets
Right.
and bathing suits. And first of all, to look at, there's on video, it's called Coney Island, Brooklyn, 1940.
Right.
And people, if they want to see 1 million people, Alan, you press the button,
Yeah.
and you see Coney Island.
Right.
There's no space, impossible to find a space. The water, so, and we would get to a place, and even though it's a nickel or a dime, it's called, you have to go into one of these lockers, get a locker,
Right.
and they give you a locker, and there you get a shower. You can get a shower, but all this is, it's a little box. You put your clothing in it, and you go back. But a lot of people would go under the blanket, everybody undress, put on the bathing suits.
Save the nickel.
And no one bothered them.
Right.
No one, first of all, you had to have even space. Alan, to watch 1 million people. And so where we are now,
Yeah.
when I tell that, I bring somebody down, I say, you are sitting here, you're playing here, and I'm playing here. Don't you remember? Life was good. Alan.
It sounds like it was
then
great.
to come home,
Right.
and there's oh wait.
Did you go to Nathan's? Was Nathan's happening back then?
I'm glad. Nathan was the first person for a nickel, Alan.
Yeah.
You got a Frankfurt, maybe.
A foot long, right?
Easy, a foot long. And they put mustard on it. And they put sauerkraut. That was the best thing. Also, Nathan's had something else. Hot corn. The corn, you know, ear of corn. The ear of corn naturally is, sometimes you get small, with a big ear of corn, and also for a nickel, and you would smear it with butter, and Alan,
It was a lot. It was great.
Life was great, and near the end of the day, we'd have to go again to push and everything else, go on the train and come home.
Would you do that thing with the?
That I don't remember.
Not on the way back.
Coming home on the way back, I don't remember.
Yeah, but who cares? It's over at that point, right? It's,
Really, but again, the family was together,
Right.
and with our family, I'm not saying I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Every family had the same ideas, the same things, the same aspirations.
So, Dad, question: have things changed?
Have things changed? Yes.
Yes.
How have things changed? The people are different. We didn't have any money, and we had a good time.
Right.
And I think when I speak to our children,
Right.
and I say to them, are you happy? Have you had the same kind of time as? And most of them will say no.
Right.
Yet they have more money today. They have.
Well,
they
you're
have
talking
more,
probably your grandchildren more. Oh, not your children, because one thing. I mean,
Oh, your wait, I'm talking
about
your-
grandchildren, because we went to Lakeland, we went to Kindleland.
Wait.
We had wonderful times, Daddy.
Please. I'm sorry. Yes, Alan. All right, I forgot.
No, it's okay.
But
I mean,
no, also, if you didn't go to Coney Island,
Right.
wait, our parents, from July 1st almost, they were there for a few weeks.
Right.
We're there, and Kindleland, and it started off as Kindleland. The words Kindleland are Jewish. It's a Jewish, the land of the Jewish people.
Children, kinder.
It was like a school.
Right.
They would teach them, and they would take care of them.
and they would teach them about peace, and they would teach them about.
And not only that,
all that
and who
stuff.
would come, wait, and what did I do? I taught you, and I taught our children folk songs.
That's right.
Alan, those folk songs, even today, unbelievable.
And you know who else knows those songs?
Who?
Your grandson,
I love-
Aaron. Aaron loves those
See,
songs.
we try to do that. Again, like you say, and what are those songs about? Peace.
Right.
When our parents were only interested in one thing, Shalom.
That's it.
We should live, my mother was saying, there's no living in the land from Shalom.
Right.
We should only live in a land of peace.
That's amen.
Except not only a world of, a world of, and that's what it was all about.
I know.
But Kindleland was something that built us up.
Right.
Again, like you say, who would come? Pete Seeger would be there.
Paul
and
Robeson.
This full song,
Everyone came.
Everyone came, Alan. And
you know what, though? One thing that's good, I think, is that, we have, I think, a more progressive government now. I mean, the seeds that were sown back then are now, I think, at some point, at this point, are beginning to, bear fruit.
All right.
You know what I mean? I think
But-
things are getting better in certain ways.
all right, but at that time,
Yes.
on the ballot, could be about 6 different parties.
Right.
Well,
When what part? Like when you were a
But
kid?
the part, I said, there was Republican, Democrat, Socialist, Communist, this party, that party.
That's true.
And as long as they had somebody to run,
Right.
and they had.
That's before the 50s, though, we're talking about. We're talking about when you were younger.
No, when I was young, when we were younger, it was only 2 parties. It was, at that time, maybe even at that time, the Socialist Party,
Right.
because many Jews were coming in at that time,
Right.
and the Socialist was a leftist
Right.
organization, a more progressive, whatever you, if you want to call it. That's what and it was Jewish.
Right.
The editor was
Of what? The forward? Oh, you're talking about
the forward.
Right.
Everybody read the forward,
Right.
and. Again,
Right.
if you didn't want to vote Republican or Democrat, you had a chance to vote for something else.
Right, that's it.
And
But life
most of
was
the
good.
time, frankly, they wanted to vote for somebody else.
Right.
But no. But look, again, whatever happened, how it happened, and things like that, little by little, we got a little older. Not much older, a little this, and I think I told you once. It came time to leave Brook Avenue to St. Anne's
Right.
and move from St. Anne's on the same block to Cypress.
Right.
And that was the time when we graduated. Oh, something else happened. At that time, after the 6th grade, PS 43 went up to the 8th grade.
Right.
At the 6th grade, something called junior high.
Right.
Who ever heard of junior high? You can, instead of going to 2 years, 4 years in school, you only get 2 or 3 or 3 years. So the rumor came around, and everybody told my parents, "Don't let your child go there."
Well, I'm happy they let you go, right, Paul?
Yes.
And unfortunately, I got to let you go too. I mean, can you believe it? I mean, this was like the quickest show ever. I really enjoyed everything. I learned some new things from you, Paul.
Alan,
And,
tell me. So
No, we have to say goodbye. So that's a wrap. Good night.